We're live.
Oh, it's back on.
We're live. Hello, everyone. Hi, Chris.
I know I haven't seen you in a couple of weeks because of financial planning stuff for me, tax time for you, it all putting together.
What is that?
You know, we had a few weeks off.
Hold on, let me see.
Can you hear me? She mean I don't know. I lost her. Maybe I lost her. Did I lose you, Abby?
I'm trying to get rid of this noise.
Well, I can hear her. So while she's getting her stuff together on that side, I don't know what's going on with Abby. Right?
There you go. I'm
Um,
here.
okay,
My
good deal.
apologies.
No
So,
worries.
how's it going, Chris?
Good. I was just saying, we missed the last few weeks because of
Yeah.
I guess tax time, right? Deadlines, working, all the good stuff. So we back because yeah, we ready to make it happen,
Yes.
So
And
absolutely.
we got some juice.
We got some juice, right? So we got some good stuff coming for you guys today and also going forward. So I'm excited about it. So guys, just welcome to the show again, right? Everybody, comment in the chat. We ready for this. We're ready for this week, right? So let's go ahead and get it started. So go ahead and cue our intro, and yeah, we'll see y'all in a second.
That's 100. That's 100.
Hello, and
We
we're
back.
back.
We
Yes.
are back.
Hello,
So
family.
So what we got tonight, Abby?
Okay, so we've been gone for a couple of weeks. We miss you guys. So we thought, the way to make up these 2 weeks is by bringing in a guest, by bringing fire to tonight. So let's see who we have hiding.
Come on, who we got hiding today?
Who we got hiding?
Come on.
Hey!
Mr. JT himself, right? Mr. If you don't know JT, Mr. Pocket Watching, right? You gotta go to his YouTube channel, right? If you don't know him, you should know him, right? And today I just found out he was a fellow Sigma brother, right? So I had to give him some real love, right? Blue for him all, right? So I had to give him some real love, right? So it was good. It was good meeting you, earlier, JT.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure you being on the show. I think we'll have a good time tonight. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, first off, thank you for the invitation. I appreciate it. And just like you guys, I've been off my channel for the past couple of weeks because of tax season and everything going on. So I feel good because I'm coming back. So yeah, let's do this.
So we should have just called this the comeback show then, right? We just should have called it the comeback, right? Everybody coming back.
Yes, it's been a long couple of 2 weeks, but so tell everybody about you. Tell a little bit about yourself.
Sure, absolutely. So I am Jason Thornton, CFP, Certified Financial Planner. That is what I do in my regular day job. I mostly focus on tax and wealth planning for my clients. But the reason why I'm here probably, and the reason why anyone on YouTube would know me, is I have a little channel called Pocket Watching with JT. And what is Pocket Watching with JT? I gotta let some people know, because some people get a little weirded out off the name. All right, so let me explain how Pocket Watching with JT even came into existence. So, like I said before, I am a certified financial planner, and I have clients who are in these social media streets just like everyone else. And as they, live their life on social media, they see these clips, these videos of financial experts giving them gems about how they can avoid taxes, how they can make all the money in the world, how they can buy someone's course and become a multi-millionaire. And from time to time, a client will either like DM me or tag me in a post and say, hey, JT, check this out. Is this something I can do? Because I've already, worked with them, and we made a financial plan and we've done some tax strategy stuff. So we're kind of already there, but they'll see something and say, hey, JT, check this out. This looks really cool. Is this something I should be doing in my financial plan? And 99.9% of the time, is BS. It's something that's either borderline illegal or just really dumb to do with their money. And sooner or later, a light bulb went off and I said, man, I think my reactions to this bad financial advice would be somewhat entertaining, right? I never thought it could get to where it is now. I mean, we're over 72,000 subscribers in just a little around like 2 years now. But I thought it would be helpful. And my wife told me, well, I'm ranting about this anyway. I might as well cut on the camera and entertain someone. Right.
So she got tired of hearing you about it.
Right, I'm yelling and going crazy over the stuff that I'm seeing on social media. And she said, go bother someone else. Maybe someone else will be interested. So, that's what it is. It's pocket watching with JT on YouTube. And, I also started, there's live stream shows that I do where it's like call-in advice that people call in. They give me their general financial situation and I give them financial tips. And then there's the pre-recorded short-form videos where I'm reacting to bad advice or I'm doing kind of a deep dive of my reaction on a financial guru online and I'm giving my reaction to it.
That's awesome. And it's so funny because I'll have the same issues. The only difference between probably you and me is that, I don't rant about it. I just go straight up and say, no, don't come with me with so-and-so say, so-and-so does not do your tax return.
Right.
So-and-so is not a CPA or so-and-so is not an accountant.
Yeah.
So I can definitely relate. They'll literally will send me the video or they'll say, Abby, why can't I get this credit? Well, I'm not IRS. IRS says you can't get this credit. Well, this person says that, well, I can get all of this deducted. Who and what army? It ain't IRS army.
Right there. That's the main point.
Yep.
Taking advice from people who are basically 100% unqualified to give anyone advice. And honestly, I've got to blame us first as professionals, right? We're the professionals.
Yeah.
And the things that the average person on the street are unaware of is there are a lot of regulations that we have to navigate when it comes to broadcasting information. So while we were a step behind because we have compliance offices and all this different stuff that we've got to do a checklist before we can go online and say something, the scammers ran out in front of us.
Yeah.
Scammers ran out and just started talking, oh, you can do this, you can do that, because there are no regulations on what they can say because they're just talking out the side of their neck. And now here we come, a class of African-American professionals, financial professionals. We come after them, and now it looks like y'all hating. Y'all hating. It's like, hold on. What were we hating when we went through school? Were we hating when we went through our licensing exams? Was it hating when we have years of experience explaining how things work? It's just that they got out in front of us and they found an audience who are financially illiterate. Let's be real. Yeah. Their audiences are financially illiterate because only someone who's financially illiterate would hear the financial gibberish that they speak and think it's good information.
Yeah.
So it's a little on us because we were a little late, but the reason why we were late to getting online is because there was a lot of red tape for us. Yeah. We had to clear a lot of red tape first.
And I think and what people don't know is there's still a lot of red tape when it comes to stuff that we do. Because a lot of things, JT, we do this on live or we do this on YouTube, but some things we may not really supposed to say on live or YouTube with compliance, right? But we do that because we want to give information. And we know that what we're saying is true, but it's huge because people don't understand. Well, Chris, why don't you use social media more? Why don't you do this? Just because it's too much things that we can't do, and I don't want to handle compliance all the time, right? And so for us, we're handling like real client situations, maybe not like saying having a course. We're dealing like with real clients. That's why, for these last 2 weeks, we're dealing with clients to make sure their taxes are straight or make sure they're speaking with their advisor. Like that part is huge on what we do, right? So people don't understand like what it really takes for us to kind of publish this type of information on the backside when running a business,
One of my clients that I had really explained to her that there is a difference between tax evasion, right, and
Avoidance,
than avoidance, right?
Yeah.
So I'm okay with us trying to
avoid.
avoid.
We can
Like,
avoid all day. We can
that's
avoid
all
all
we
day.
want to do. That's all we want to do. We want to make sure we avoid as many listen, the goal, listen, as your strategist and as JT being EA, our goal is to make sure that every single deduction that IRS says you can take, we want you to take it. Like, we want you to take advantage of all the credit. But there's a huge fine line between, trying to hide, from IRS, saying that, you had income and don't want to report it, or somebody in social media told you that you can deduct your net income and put it in a IUL or an insurance, and then you don't have to pay taxes on that. That makes me want to tear up all my braids in my hair. Or the idea that you have this car and we're just going to depreciate this vehicle that you have it as a person. There's a huge difference of what we can do. One of them, just like Charles says, one of them takes you straight to jail. And then everyone just want to be Trump. They want to find Trump accountant. Just so you know, Trump accountant went to prison and Trump
Right,
did.
right.
I'm not going to prison.
Yeah.
I want to touch on something that you were saying real quick about, the people who were giving advice. Now, after I blamed us, right? So let's get down to it. I blamed us. The
We take accountability.
We take accountability because we didn't get to the forum as soon as we should have before the scammers ran out in front. So I'll take blame for that. Now it's time for me to blame other people. All right. I'm blaming these platforms that give these gurus an opportunity to give people bad advice. Yeah. Right? I can name them, but I name them on my platform. I'm not going to name them on your platform. Have too much respect for y'all. I'll name them on my platform. But I'm sure the audience knows these platforms that I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
The issue that I have with them is the hosts, I understand, are not experts in finance. They can't be, because they sit there with a smile on their face, like, listening to someone basically instruct people how to commit fraud, and they say, wow, that's amazing. So listen, I know you guys and girls who are hosts of these finance podcasts, I know you're not financial experts. My issue with you is you don't care enough to verify the information that your guests are giving. That's my problem. Because this show is live. This is a live show. If I say something reckless, you have very little control over it. Now, later you can probably edit it out, but you have very little control. Most of these podcasts, these financial podcasts, are pre-recorded. They go through, they sit down, they do a show, they do edits and everything. They do all that work, but they never verify the information that their guests give. Now, I'm not saying that you have to take a transcript and go through everything they say. But if a guest says something to make the host say, what? We can do what?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I never knew that. If a guest says something that invokes that type of reaction out of you, I think it would be good to verify that information with a qualified professional. Now, if they just say some stuff that sounds okay, but if it literally invokes an emotional outburst from the guest that says, I can't believe we can legally do that.
Yeah.
See, it sounds like I'm being hyperbolic. I am almost word for word giving you some of the reactions that these financial podcast hosts say. I can't believe we can legally do that. And they never go back. I mean, because they'll shoot the show and it'll come out maybe 3 weeks to a month after they did the recording. And in that time, while they did all the press for it, while they did all the thumbnails and the Instagram clips and the TikTok clips, they do all that work. And they never verify the thing that blew their mind. Yeah. Why? They're uninterested. They're uninterested to verify the information because they know that's what brings the butts in the seats. That's what brings the eyeballs. It's this crazy, almost illegal sounding, get rich quick advice that bring the people to them. So it's against their own self-interest to double check and verify the information, because if they verify that it's wrong, right? If they see, oh no, you can't really do that, well then they won't have that 30-second TikTok clip that brings everyone to the long form content that makes them money. So they're working against their own interest. And then point number 2, I told you I was going to talk a lot. Point number 2 is that they are also monetarily incentivized, not just by the views that they get, but the money that they get on the back end from the affiliate link. When they sell this financial strategist course, they get anywhere between 45 to 50% of the sales, from what I'm told from industry experts. So that $5,000 course that you first heard of on your best financial podcast, the podcast host is getting $2,500 when you buy it with their affiliate link.
We're in the wrong field, JT. We're in the wrong field. The hell?
That's the back end. Lastly, I want to talk about some of the money that they get on the front end. See, the back end is the affiliate link. So once again, they are not incentivized to verify if the information that their guest is giving is good, because they're selling a course with the affiliate link. So where they're getting half of the course money. That's the back end. The front end is what we refer to as podcast payola, where they just straight up get money from the guests to be on the show. And they never disclose that this isn't an interview. This is an infomercial.
Come on.
That's my problem.
Wow. I just learned something new. And I'm in the wrong field. The hell? I'm doing the wrong thing.
You in the right field.
Now, take a guess real quick, Abby. Guess how much someone is willing to pay to be on one of these huge podcasts. How much do you think a fake guru is willing to pay?
I would say probably 10 to 15 to 20K.
$50,000.
The heck? Where do they find $50,000? Listen, I have a child in college. Where do these people find these money?
Now listen, this is no rumor. This is no hearsay. This is straight from the horse's mouth. There is a gentleman who refers to himself as Him 500. Him 500 financial strategist. Him 500 openly admitted, I think he did it by accident because he was somewhat bragging on it. Then later on, he realized he got caught up in what he says and he tried to sweep it under the rug. But Him 500, who's very close to Earn Your Leisure and all the other big podcasts, he openly admitted that he paid $1 million worth of game, $50,000 to be on the show. Now, I watched that episode of $1 million worth of game. They're on a private jet, doing the interview on a private jet. Everything looked great.
Come on.
Not once did they ever mention that Him 500 paid $50,000 to be on the show. Now, they said that they heard that he was doing a lot of good stuff in the community. They said that he was teaching people how to get their credit right. They said that he was teaching people how to make money and be financially free. And because of all the great information, they had to get him on the show. But the reality was he came with a $50,000 bag. And anything based on that, to me, anything the brother would have said would have been great to them, because they did it not for the culture, as they say. These financial podcasts says, we're doing it for the culture. They're not doing it for the culture. They're doing it for the other C word. They're doing it for the check. That's my problem.
So I have a quick question. Like, sometimes I really do watch these gurus just so I can create content around these gurus, so then our community can actually get the real education, the real information. So us as professional, JT, like, what advice would you have for Chris, that is a financial advisor? That's me, that's a tax strategist. Because realistically, these people, like, some people are like, using their life-saving monies to buy these courses,
yes.
to saw these things happening. And in our culture, people are saying it's for the culture, but realistically, people are losing money. So I do my best in my community to educate them. Okay, this is what you can do. This is what you cannot do. Even though someone, and I'm saying this here too, well, even Abby, I want you to do your own due diligence. It's so important that you do your DDs, just like you are in a stock market, right? Before you get into a ticker, Apple, you do your fundamental, you do your technicals. When somebody says something, it's important that you do your own DDs as well. You know, at the end of the day, you should hold yourself accountable of the information you receive and what research did you made yourself. Because I tell my clients this. Yes, I may be your accountant, but you are responsible for your books. At the end of the day, IRS does not know. Abby, you are responsible for your financial. So even when I say something, double check it.
Yeah.
Double check it. Do your
I say that all the time. I show clients on page 2 of your individual 1040. I show them, listen, you are signing under penalty of perjury that this information is true. I went over it with you. Don't act like don't throw it all on me. I use the information you provided to prepare this tax return. I gave you advice on the best things to do, this, that, and the other. But ultimately, you are responsible for it.
Correct.
So to answer your question, like what would I tell aspiring, African-American professionals like, ourselves and people who are trying to give the right information? What should they be doing? Well, number one, this is a tough pill to swallow, but this is the number one thing that you're going to have to understand. You can't save everybody.
Yeah.
Sure.
If you go out there with the mentality of, I'm going to give people the right information and I'm going to get them away from these fake gurus and the world is going to appreciate my work.
Yeah.
Nah, baby. That ain't going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
It ain't sexy enough. It's not sexy.
It ain't going to happen. So number one, you're not going to save everyone.
Yeah.
Some people are destined to be scammed. It's not that, it should be happening. It's just reality, because you got to understand what you're working against. I'm working on a book, so some of this is chapters and books in my head. But you have to fight against what I refer to as the original sin of personal finance. The original sin of personal finance is people are fundamentally lazy.
Yeah.
Fundamentally lazy.
Yeah.
Why?
Who is he telling the truth, people? Who?
You come into this world as a baby, and in order to be sustained, all you do is cry. You don't work for any type of sustenance. You cry. And what happened? A mother, someone provides for you. That's a subtle imprint in that person's mind that I'm going to give the littlest amount of effort in order to get the maximum amount of reward. Now, hopefully, as you're growing older and you're maturing and you have people around you, like I had my father, there's some people who have coaches. You have someone who interrupts your travel, who explains to you, you're no longer a child. You should no longer expect the maximum reward for the minimum amount of effort.
Come on, somebody. Preach that.
Most people never get that interruption in their life. Sometimes they'll hear it, but they'll reject the message.
Boy.
The reason why many people are scammed is because they believe in a fairy tale that they can receive all the riches in the world for little effort. All they got to do is know the right trick or the right person or get in and they can get it. I live in a reality where it's an equal exchange of value. I don't want more than what the value I'm willing to exchange.
100%.
Because if I'm expecting more than what I'm willing to put out, then I'm in someone's pocket.
Yeah.
Right? Let me take it to street terms. Now, I'm not a street dude, but so many people who listen to financial podcasts, y'all love street culture. So let me bring it to street culture for you. Never been to jail myself, but I watched enough of Oz as a kid on HBO that I know a couple of things from prison culture. So here we go. Oz would teach you that if you go to jail and there's some big guy who you meet who's always doing favors for you, right? You're a little hungry, he gives you a cupcake. You know, what you want to watch in the rec room's not on the TV. Don't worry about it. I'll make sure you get to watch your stories. See, the novice would think, what a great guy. This fella is looking out for me. I'm giving him, he cares about me. I'm giving him nothing, barely nothing. And he's giving me everything. See, what you don't know until you get to the end of the episode of Oz, that fella wants something. And he's going to get it from you, whether you like it or not. That's the mindset of people who want a lot for a little. See, everyone in jail in Oz, the OGs, they knew you don't be accepting gifts. No. If you are hungry and you don't have anything, you go to bed hungry. Because if you start accepting gifts, he's going to want more on the back end.
Wow.
That's how you need to think financially. When you think you're getting a great deal, that this guy who claims he's a multimillionaire, I see him in videos riding around in a Maybach. I see him in videos flying in private jets. And I'm a young guy, 22, 23, maybe just have a regular job. Or maybe I'm a street dude who came up on the lick and got a couple $100,000. And now I'm this big brand IG celebrity who's a multimillionaire. They're willing to get me into an investment deal with them, not because I've earned it, just because they're looking out for little bro.
Yeah,
you're gonna end up bent over in the same position as the guy in Oz.
Listen,
I mean, and I think one of the biggest things too about what we see online when it comes to financial literacy is that some of the strategies that you may see online, maybe not just from influencers, but things that you research, they may not be bad ideas. They may not be something that's wrong that you can do. It may not just be your time yet to implement it.
Yeah.
See that's I think that's one of the to me.
And that's so true. You said that
it may be a great strategy. It just may not be your time for implementation. Because when I'm looking at a financial plan, they say I have a client. Hey, Chris. Well, you know, again, one of the biggest things I think online is about probably would be like cash flow banking or infinite banking or those type things.
Estate planning.
So people, I have clients that call me like, I know what you're contributing to your investment accounts. I know what you're paying for your current life insurance policy. You call me, hey Chris, hey look, I want one of them. Do you sell one of those cash value infinite banking policies? I'm like, well, and they said, well, I said, so I love playing a game with them, JT. I said, okay, so how much you willing to spend per month? Oh man, I'm looking. I mean, how much I'm spending now? Well, you spend about $64 a month now on your insurance, right? And I said, so how much you willing to spend? Well, I'm, about what the same amount that I'm paying a day. Okay, you can't do a whole life infinite banking IUL policy for $64 and think you're going to get $500K worth of insurance. Well, Chris, I thought that if I got the $1 million policy, that I can automatically get some of that $1 million from day one. No, it don't work like that. They just made it sound like that on YouTube. They just made it sound like that on IG. Right? Yes. If you want to buy a car with a policy, okay, can you do it? You can. But you better have already put in $50,000.
You're borrowing your own money. The cash value is never more than what you put in, or maybe the little return that you get, but it's not going to be more. Here's one thing, and you hit it great. When you talked about it may not be illegal or bad advice, but it may not be your time to implement.
Your timing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some stuff will never, ever apply to you and need to be implemented. Now, I know you guys, if you've been hanging around lately, you know it's all about the trust.
Yep.
I know you've
Oh
heard
my
about.
God, they're my favorite. They're my favorite. So here's what you do. You want to make sure you create an LLC. You put that trust in that LLC, and then you put this trust and this to the left side. You put this trust into the right side, and then you never have to pay any tax. I love it when they say you never have to pay.
You never pay any taxes because everything's in the trust.
Everything's in the trust. Wait, here's the word. Here's my favorite. That's what the rich people do. Well, you ain't rich.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's the thing. Like it's and I think that's what our culture, what we, JT, I think that's what our culture, if we understand that part first, is that as as financial literacy, it's about building blocks. It's just like us building a house. I talked about on our show, or actually on a call the other day. It's like when you think about it, when you want to buy a piece of raw land. Okay, I live in Mississippi, right? So, there's land everywhere. When you buy a piece of raw land, there's trees that's covering the entire thing. Right, but before this, you can actually build a home on that raw land. You got to cut down the trees. You got to get down on the weeds, right? So that may be your debt. They may be your student loans. They may be understanding your budget. See, those are the trees on a raw land that you have to get rid of and clear before you can start to build a solid foundation. Right. So if you still got trees on that land, we can't say, oh, hey, man, I want to go invest in a hedge fund. I mean, not to say a hedge fund is bad to invest in, but again, that's not the time. Like, you haven't even cleared up the trees on the land yet. You haven't even
paid off all the debt.
Yeah. Listen, I love that analogy because this is what I say. And once again, I'm writing the book. Please don't steal this. Not y'all. I'm talking about the audience. Give me an opportunity to write my book before y'all repeat something.
Come on, we gotta write a book tonight.
But I say this on my show a lot.
This is just gonna be a book.
Right. I say this on my show a lot. And I do it to the clients. There's an order of operation in financial planning, right? I have to take them back to grade school math. I know it's been a long time for many of you, right? Long time. But in math class, and once again, I'm talking about grade school math. This isn't even middle school. Grade school math. They taught you the order of operations. Right. When you started to get into a math class where it was more than 1 + 1 is 2, right? You've got a problem that has multiplication in it. It has addition. It has subtraction. It has division. It may even have some exponents in there. It's all this stuff, right?
Sally, right?
It's all this stuff in here. Now, the problem is you can get each individual part of that problem right, but you'll get the overall problem wrong if you do it out of order. See, you can be like, hey, listen, JT, I've got $20,000 in a brokerage account. Good job. But you got $45,000 worth of credit card debt at over 25% interest.
Stop talking about my business, JT.
I mean, it's hustling backwards. Now, I'm the lame when I say, listen, you would be better off to sell, build up an emergency savings fund, aggressively attack that debt, get the debt down. Now you no longer have an out cash flow going towards that debt, but you're still making the same money. So now we can redirect the money that was going to debt to service bad debt at that, and now start to build wealth. And now your investments are growing more than the money that's going towards the debt.
But I may miss out on
sexy.
Yeah, but I may miss out on the opportunity now, JT. Like
that. I'm sure.
That's right. So, but we have to also always understand, like when it comes to investing, there's always going to be another time. There's always going to be another opportunity. Right? Like if you got that much debt, 25%, you're going to get a 25% guaranteed return by paying off the debt.
But see, that's the problem. The problem is, and I know that we're going to like react to some videos or something later. And this kind of addresses where we are in the world of finance and social media. I had a caller. I got some of the greatest subscribers to my channel. They're hilarious. They're funny. They come up with great stuff. They call in. And someone once mentioned an arms race. It feels like it's an arms race. And when I heard that, I said, I'm stealing this immediately. Because it's such a great point. Now, once again, I got to take you back to grade school social studies class real quick. Grade school social studies. when you have two warring fractions, two countries that are in a silent war against each other, not active war, but they're competing. In an arms race, each country is slowly trying to improve its weaponry, right? One person may have a bow and arrow, and the next day, the next one, okay, you got a bow and arrow, I got a gun. Okay, you got a gun, I got a bazooka. You got a bazooka, I got a bomb. See, they keep going up and up to try to punk each other into submission so they don't actually have to fight. They just trying to show I got more power.
Yeah.
The problem where we're at with finance on social media is that the arms race is ridiculous. See, no longer can you wow people by saying, listen, if you put $6,500 into a IRA, you'll get the tax deduction for that year, and you're slowly building towards your future. Or the cooler thing you could do, put that $6,500 in a Roth IRA. You don't get the tax deduction, but the money's going to grow and compound tax-free. See, maybe about 8 to 12 years ago, people would have been like, I didn't know. So I keep the money. It's my money, but it either can grow tax-free or I get a tax deduction for saving for my retirement. Thanks. That's a gem, as the kids would say. I'm too old. I'll be 40 in July. But they'll say, that's a gem, right? You can't get that now. See, in order a gem now, you got to say, all right, so here's the play. What we're going to do is we're not going to claim any tax deductions on your tax return. You gross $250,000, even though I know you only net 60. We're not going to claim any tax deductions on your tax return. Then you're going to go to the bank and get a mortgage for the $250,000 that we claim. But as soon as you get that mortgage, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go back and we're going to amend the tax return down to the $60,000 that you really make, and you don't have to pay all the taxes on the $250,000. See, you got to say outrageous things now. Right? And that's a real example. That wasn't hyperbole. You can go to my channel and you'll see someone saying that. You got to say things that are outrageous to get eyeballs. And now we have turned people who claim to be financial experts, we've turned them into prostitutes for views and likes. They'll say anything they need to say to get people. Hey, if you're a barber, here's the play. You can get yourself a G-Wagon, right? The G-Wagon is over 6,000 pounds. And I'm like, hold on. A barber? How is a G-Wagon?
I heard that, what is it? The Lamborghini?
The Youre.
So I had a fight with the Lamborghini, and it's okay. Yes, we can go to irs.gov. I love irs.gov. It's besides the Bible, it's my favorite book. Let's go to irs.gov. It's my favorite site. So we can literally go buy a Lamborghini for free, y'all. For free.
That's what they say. That's what I heard. I seen the clip.
For free. Can somebody please get me a free Lamborghini?
The brother pops up on my screen and he looks dead into the camera and he says, you see this house?
Yep.
I ain't buy this house. The IRS bought this house for me.
Yes.
You see that Lamborghini? I ain't buy that Lamborghini. The IRS bought that Lamborghini for me. And I said, sir.
Man, y'all watch a lot of YouTube. I ain't seen that one.
What? Oh, no.
Oh, Chris, I got to see you, sir. No, you know why, Chris? Because you don't get the tax clients. So he doesn't get the tax clients. You don't. The thing is, you don't get the tax client that says, "Oh, so and so done this. Why can't I do this?" Or so and so say this is okay. I said, "Well, so and so should do your tax return." And understand this too. Just because somebody is a CPA does not necessarily mean they know what they're talking. If someone does not go straight to irs.gov with you and say, listen, here are the guidelines, here's what the publication says. Because I literally heard CPAs giving advice, and I asked the CPA, do you do these people tax return? Oh no, I don't do tax return. Well, then can you not give tax advice?
All right, so here's a little peek into the life of the Pocket Watcher. I want to say maybe within the first 5 or 6 months of my YouTube channel, I did a reaction video to a CPA who was giving this type of advice, right?
Yeah.
And I want to say maybe a few weeks or a month or so after I did the video, he reached out to me, right? He hit me up in my DM and he reached out to me and he said, hey, listen, bro, I know what I was saying was hyperbolic, right? I know, but I was trying to get people's attention. It's like, I know you can't really just, anyone can just buy a G-Wagon. I know, but like, I'm learning marketing. Marketing's new to me. And I explain further down in the post, in the comments, I explain all the steps you have to go through and who it really applies to, but it wouldn't get the views if I didn't say it the way I said it. Could you please take the video down? My answer was no, I'm not taking the video down.
Of course.
But ultimately, we've got to look inward and ask ourselves, what are we here for?
Yeah.
Right? Listen, to have over 70,000 subscribers doing what I do is amazing. It's amazing. But I'm never going to prostitute myself to the way where mob rule, right? You ever heard the saying, you can't let the inmates run the asylum, right? I love my subscribers, right? But I will never prostitute myself to the point where it's like, whatever y'all want, I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Nah, player. I'm the show.
Thank
Either
you.
you enjoy the content that I do or move on to the next fella who's willing to give you what you want. See, my show is medicine, right? Now, some people enjoy it because it isn't hitting them yet, right? I have some people be like, I love your channel. I love your channel. I love your channel. Then I do an episode on someone they like.
Yes. Oh, no, you hating. You hating, JT.
I was cool when I did it on all these other people. But when I do an episode on someone they like,
you hating.
Now I'm tripping. I'm tripping. I didn't fell off. I'm clickbaiting. Or one of the worst things people say, you're clout chasing now.
What?
I was with you before, but now you're clout chasing. No, the problem is it's medicine. And while I was feeding everybody else their medicine, you were comfortable sitting back, laughing and saying, ah! But when the spoon gets shoved in your mouth, you got a problem. Well, guess what? I don't care. I don't know you people. I'm here to give you
that mentality.
Right. When I cut off this camera, I go out into the rest of my home with my family, who is more important to me than you. No shade. That's how it should be.
That's
my
how it
family
should be.
is more important to me than you guys. I'm not going to put on a monkey suit and dance for you. This is literally how I am. Camera off. This everything I do. This is me without the camera. There's going to be parts that you enjoy, and there's going to be parts that you don't like. Here's my recommendation. Enjoy the parts that you like. The parts that you don't like, take notes, see me later, or cut it off. But I'm not going to change. It's just who I am.
Absolutely.
I know that's right. What advice though would you have for the people, the individuals that are watching these influencers? And and like Chris said earlier, it's not that all the informations are bad information. It's just my biggest problem is not necessarily the information. My biggest issue is that we as a people, we're lazy, like you said, in doing our own research. So we're okay with whatever somebody put in our hands or put in our ears for us to hear. We got to the point that if it says that we can make money, we will spend our life saving just to make those money, and then later find out, listen, you are more in a deep debt. It's the same idea. I had a client that told me, oh, I saw this video. She said it'd be great for me to get a line of credit. I said, well, your business is doing fine. You don't necessarily need that money. If there's no need for you to actually go get debt. If you have a good cash flow, boom, you go get that. Now this quarter, the business is slow. Okay. You've used all this money. Now you have to pay this debt back. And now so the thing is, I would say, me personally, and I'll let Chris and JT give their own advice. I say, do your DDs. I don't care who the person that's giving you the information. Do your due diligence. I don't care if it's Abby, if it's Chris, if it's JT, if it's a CPA, if it's an accountant. I don't care if it's a billionaire, a millionaire. I don't care if it's your daddy. Do your own research, because that is your hard working. That is your hard earned money at the end of the day.
Yeah.
No.
At the end of the day.
No, that's a great point. So I'm gonna get a little religious, but not too deep. Not too deep, because everybody's different, right? Here's my personal belief. My personal belief is everyone's born with some innate discernment, some innate spirit that knows right from wrong, that understands when something sounds funny. The problem is you have trained yourself to kill that voice far too many times. I come from the standpoint that when it comes to the subject of money, most people are liars. Most people are liars. How do you know, JT? Why would you say something so radical? It's because I actually see the numbers. See, I actually get bank statements. I get investment statements. I see tax returns. They can talk that big Willie talk to you
all day.
But I know statistics. See, I know the wealth gap in America. I know the financial situation that the average African American is in. All these so-called multimillionaire Negroes on Instagram, they can't all be true, because then the stats with the government would be completely off. If just 20% of these Negroes were actually telling the truth about how they're making millionaires every day, I think the Black community would look a little different. So it sounds kind of bad, but this is my reaction. Most people are lying. When someone starts talking money to me, my default position is, you're lying. You're lying. Sure. Why? Because I'm most likely right. If 10 people come to me talking money, I by default say all 10 are lying. Maybe one might be telling the truth. But you know what? I'll take a 90. Last time I checked, a 90 is still an A, right? So know that most people are lying when they talk about money. When someone tries to give you their personal experience as if that means something, right? There's some people who will say, well, I'm a millionaire, so I give out advice because I made $1 million. You know, if you could tell the voice I'm doing, then you know what fake guru I'm talking about. The issue here is that is anecdotal evidence. It's not something that probably could be repeatable, right? That's like saying, because Michael Jordan is widely considered one of the greatest basketball players ever. He's clearly in the top 2 in most people's minds. Top 2, easy top 2, top 3. Some people, depending on how old you are, top 2 or 3. Now, Michael Jordan, as great as he was as a basketball player, you would think that he could have passed down some gems, some wisdom to people who are very close to him. Some people say he made Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen wouldn't have been as good as he was if it wasn't for Michael Jordan. Some people say that. I say some people, I really mean people who don't know basketball, for sure. Let's keep it moving. My question to them always is, if Michael Jordan could just easily, because he was such a great basketball player, make other people great basketball players, my question is this: why were his sons not even drafted in the NBA? Both of his sons played basketball. D1 college athletes playing basketball. They didn't even get drafted. Why? Because one person's individual talent at doing something is not that easily transferable unless they learn throughout the process of how to coach someone else up with the fundamentals, right? The problem with very talented people and the same problem with people who are very rich is because they became rich or they became very good in athletics because of an innate skill that they have that for them comes naturally. See, when you have a naturally talented athlete, and I had this problem in school because I was not naturally talented. When you have someone who's naturally talented and you ask them, as I did several times, man, how do you do that? And I always got the same answer. I just do it.
I just do it. Yes, that's so true.
But what I had to do, I had to get up early before school and practice. I had to go to practice, then stay late and have a journal with notes to learn each step I had to take within the movement of the sport, be it football or wrestling. I had to take notes because it didn't come natural. The difference is I can teach it to many people because I know the steps. The person who's naturally gifted, they just do.
They just do. That's
now,
so true.
Tie it back to the rich people and why, oh, you should listen to him because he's a multimillionaire. Well, he probably, most of these guys, they got rich doing something that you can no longer do. They got rich within an industry doing a particular thing that now is either irrelevant or illegal, but they're teaching you the way that they got rich because they know they can no longer do it. See, after the game is played out, you can sell it.
That's true.
There's no reason to sell the game when it's still active. Because why? You are creating competition for yourself. If I'm a guy who's a great trader, I'm a great day trader. I can make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year day trading. Why would I sell a course teaching other people how to day trade? Because I'm trying to use my own strategy in the market. If I'm using my strategy, which is wildly successful if you let them tell it, if I teach you how to do the same strategy, we will be pulling and tugging against each other in the market. So when I'm trying to capitalize on my strategy and you're trying to capitalize on my strategy at the same time, you're muddying the water for me. Because now the trade volume of what I'm trying to get at is higher than what it would have been if I just shut up and use my own strategy. So what are they doing? They're probably selling you something that doesn't work anymore. Because why would they create competition for themselves? It makes no sense.
Ooh, child.
Come on.
I should have bought wine.
I told you I could talk. And it's been 2 weeks. So, I've been holding back.
You allowed. It's been 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks. Right. Now, one question that I do have is, we know that everything that has a beginning has an end, right? So sooner or later, all this noise is gonna sheesh. What advice would, and Chris, you can give it to, what advice that you guys would do with individuals that are now just tapping into all of this? Like, we've been watching it, we've been seeing it, but let's just say our 18-year-old or our college students that are watching this stuff, right? And they don't really know better. Like, what advice that you guys would have? Like, I always say, yes, these gurus are out there and just giving bad information. I feel like the professionals have some type of responsibility too, to do the opposite, to give the correct information, so that I can log into IG and see one bad, but I can also log into IG and find one good, and then I have a choice of choosing. So I think, to be honest with you, I think we professionals are not doing enough. I think we're so behind the desk, right, of working, that we're not giving the right information. We're not creating the right content. So realistically, they are winning. They are winning the people with all this information and making our job harder. I know. I'm gonna be honest with you. In the last 3 to 5 years, my job got harder. My job literally got, my job has no longer just been just doing books, just reviewing financial reports, or just doing tax or sales tax or quarterly tax or end year tax. My job has gotten to where now I have to educate. I have to educate, and I have to show proof, because people are out there giving so bad information. And now I have to show proof that the information that I'm giving, right? But that I have to show proof that it's correct.
Right. And that's so funny, because they don't require proof from the scammer who gives them the bad information.
Proof from me.
They require proof from us when we combat and counter the information. But but Chris, please, because I've got a very long answer. So Chris, please.
No, I mean, I think that's true. That we do have it harder, and because since we're in the service business, our world looks different. Right, because most of my time, again, I'll talk to Mark. He's like, man, I ain't talked to Mark a couple of days. Well, he knows for me, I'm in the books of working with real clients, real situations. Right. So it's also really a hard time for me to run a business, run a life, run a family, and then combat social media all the time when I know the clients that are sitting in front of me, I got a service to provide to make sure they have the best client experience, right? To make sure that they have the best knowledge, to make sure they have the best plan, and understanding that I'm working with them. So I don't, Abby, so we may be somewhat losing the race when it comes to the exponential growth of social media, but the impact that we're making, we're doing our part. So to me, what that means is that we got to have more people that we have to duplicate, train, develop like ourselves that can go out there and help more people. Does that make sense? So we have to learn to duplicate ourselves, right? That's one thing for me is that, hey, I want to make sure that I duplicate great advisors, right? That can know. So I can only help so many people, right? But see, now if I'm able to mentor and train others that can go do the same, so now it can get bigger. We can have a bigger spread. But I really think it comes to us, like what we said on our show in the very beginning, Abby, is that we got to focus on teaching. We got to do our part, right? We don't have to be about what's flashy. We don't have to be about, what's the next hottest thing. Like I remember our first conversation, Abby's like, man, our topic is boring, Chris. Well, it's boring because it's what's right. Yeah, it's boring because we're really teaching the real foundations, because what's sexy sometimes, yes, is what gets seen, but it's not always true on the backside. So we just got to make sure that we're teaching more people. And when we have shows like this, it's about delivering real content. It's about, that's why I love the way we answer questions for clients, the way hey, like I got an email today, right? She was talking about from our, she was talking about, what was she saying? Like, CDs, right? She said, well, Chris, I'm thinking about getting an IRA. What did she say? Hold on. Yeah. Boom. Yeah. She said, I had a question about an IRA CD in a savings account. Well, again, so this is a platform for us to help people understand, okay, why should we get an IRA CD from a bank and how that's probably not the best thing. Right. But again, JC, they don't know that. They don't know. We don't know. Like, so yes, you and I know those type things. Yeah. That, okay, if you go get an IRA CD from a bank, they're going to give you like a 1.2% return over 6 months or a year period. You got to put up $25,000 to even get that type of rate of return, right, from a CD. Again, there's down to places to where we're not just marketing the next big thing, that we're really teaching these financial principles. And that's where, for me, I want to stay on, okay, give me situations, real world situations, how you feel, and let's solve them together based on facts and not based on hype.
Absolutely.
So, all right. So listen, I want to say two things. Number one, I love your answer. Love your answer. But number two is, I remember when I was young and hopeful like you. Yeah. I had hope in my eyes, and I believed. I believed in people. I believed in people. But no, in all seriousness, no, I believe that's what we should be doing.
Yeah.
But then there's the realist in me, and here's the problem. It does not matter how much we debunk these fake gurus. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Because while we will be saving the current generation of people who witness us debunk them, right? There's always a sucker born every minute. And when the new group comes up who didn't see us, who didn't witness us debunk these fake gurus, they too will fall victim. Now, before y'all lose your mind's audience and say, JT, that makes no sense. You're saying that you can debunk a fake guru and maybe someone that's only 8 to 10 years younger will fall victim of the very same thing? Well, here's a little research for you kids at home. Google the name Peter Popoff. If you don't know who that is, it's because you're young and you weren't up late at night watching BET right after BET Uncut went off. But these are the commercials that would come up. Peter Popoff. All right, so
Peter Popoff?
In like the 70s or 80s, there was this traveling preacher, short little white man with a squeaky voice, Peter Popoff. Peter Popoff would go from city to city putting on his show. And Peter Popoff would be able to call out people in the audience, call them out by name, talk about what was going on in their life. He would tap them on their forehead and they would fall out and he would heal them of whatever ailed them. It was an amazing thing to watch. Peter Popoff. Check it out. Now, there was another man who was a magician, right? He's called the Amazing Randy. The Amazing Randy knew what the guy was doing because he knows how to do little tricks with audiences, pull rabbits out of hats, get himself out of straitjackets. He knew the grift. So what he did was he sent a couple of plants into the audience, and then he was able to see what was going on. Peter Popoff had, at the time, extremely advanced technology at the time, had a little radio in his ear. And what happened was, before people came into the revival show, they would be out in the audience. And his wife and the workers would be walking around talking to people, getting their information, just chit-chatting. They would then feed him the information in his ear through a little radio receiver. And he would be calling out all this stuff. You can Google this, people. The Amazing Randy went on the biggest TV show of the time, The Tonight Show. Not Jay Leno's Tonight Show, right? But it was Johnny Carson's Tonight Show when the Tonight Show was big. Not Jimmy Fallon, not Conan O'Brien, but I'm talking about the big Johnny Carson Tonight Show. Exposed the guy. Showed the world he was a fraud. God wasn't speaking into his ear. It was his wife. But 10 to 20 years later, where can you find him? He's on BET at 2 o'clock in the morning selling miracle water and all this other stuff. So what am I saying?
Oh, Lord.
It doesn't matter how much we knock these guys down. It's like a game of whack-a-mole. They will pop back up. So all I'm saying is, don't let your heart be broken because you can't save anybody. But we can save as many as we can. But these scammers, they're like roaches.
Whew.
They can survive almost anything. Even their failure is a redemption story for them. Even when you bust out a scammer, give them 5 or 6 years, they will use the event of them being exposed as just another great redemption story to tell. And there's going to be another group of people who can hear. How many people are in a multi-level marketing scam right now? How many people do you think are in a multi-level marketing company right now when we know generation after generation, the majority of people who get into multi-level marketing don't make money? Why? Because there's always another sucker who haven't heard about. I can't even say the companies because you might get sued on this. I'm not going to say the companies. But you know the companies out there, people. The companies that tell you all you got to do is get 5 friends to get 5 friends. They're still around, even though we know no one really makes money other than the people on top of the pyramid. So we're never going to get rid of all of them. We can try to save as many as we can, pass the job and pass the baton to the next generation of professionals who have to virtually do the same exact thing that we're doing. It's a never-ending struggle. That's my point. I think that's a better way to say it. It's a never-ending struggle against good and evil. If you think that you're going to defeat the devil, you don't understand the devil's job. We are in a never-ending battle to save our people financially. And each generation has to pick up the baton. We're not going to get the job done if then our grandkids can say, well, we don't have to worry about scammers no more. No. Nope. There will always be scammers. We just got to make sure that there will always be professionals to combat them.
Absolutely. And again, I think that when it comes to, we talk negatively about the information that's on YouTube, social media, everything else, right? Or people being miseducated. Well, it also always gives us an opportunity for someone that does want to do right. We always have an opportunity to be in business, right? I guess that's what I like. Right?
It's always there.
Right. Every single time that somebody brings me, that has a financial plan that's not built right, or a life insurance policy that was wrong. I mean, I'm upset that they got sold it, but it also gives me an opportunity to make sure I can correct. And those necessary evils are going to be there to make sure that the road can still keep going. Right. That we always have an opportunity to correct an injustice. And that's the part that I love. Right. There's never going to be a situation to where we can be out of business.
Yeah,
right.
I'm with it. It makes sense. Now, I've got about 20 more strong minutes. So if we want to react to some videos, let's do it.
What videos are we going to react? I don't have any videos. I don't have any videos. But do anyone in the audience have any questions for JT or any questions for Chris and I?
Yeah.
Or do you want to answer a couple of those questions?
I'm ready. I'm here. I'm here for another good 15 to 20 minutes. I give you whatever you want.
Let's pull them up. Oh my goodness. I had a client that told me because they owe tax return, I was a terrible accountant. Yeah. Because our job is to make sure they can get money back.
I literally had someone tell me that, not this year, but last year. It was someone, I guess they found out about me through the YouTube channel and whatnot. And, they prepared to return or whatever. And they were like, I expected more back and this, that, and other. And I said, your job is to get me the most back. I said, number one, don't tell me what my job is. I'm pretty sure I know what my job is. I've worked extremely hard. I know my job. My job isn't to get you as much money back as possible. This is why I'm telling the person. My job is to prepare a tax return as accurate as possible, taking advantage of the Internal Revenue Code and not break the law. That's my job. If you think my job is to get you the most amount of money back as possible, you're mistaken.
That's true.
And I did not, and I fired the person as a client that absolutely was not going to update the tax return with all these new crazy business expenses that they were able to find. I was like, no. We're good. We're into the engagement right now.
Yes. So, Diesel says, how can we reach you guys? JT, please let everyone know how they can reach you.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can go to my website. So it's pocketwatcher.net. That has all the links to the YouTube channel, to the podcast, to my actual firm's website. You can book consultations, one-on-one consultations. Just go to pocketwatcher.net. All the information is there.
Yeah, and you guys know how to get with me and Chris. You guys can actually literally go to help@thecomeupseries.co. Whatever questions you may have, whatever scenario or an issue that you guys are currently going through, that could be either tax related, financial related. If you're about to do either, if you're trying to get your budget together or you trying to actually start wealth, Chris is amazing. If you have tax questions, tax planning is around the corner, so that's going to be very good for you guys to take to start really focusing on. So that's how you can actually get a hold of us. I know our time is actually coming up. JT, thank you so much
thank you for the invite,
for responding to our invite, for coming up. We're definitely going to have you again. Listen.
Absolutely. Thank you. Listen, you have a great platform, great show. Keep up the good work. Keep that fighting spirit, Chris.
Hey, look,
don't turn into an old grump like me. Keep that fighting spirit. But this is the work. This is what we're doing. It's not sexy. You don't have You're not trying to teach people, I can teach you how to make $1,000 a day, day trading. See, that's going to get the eyeballs. That's going to get people to come over here, and your numbers are going to go like crazy. But man, at what price is your soul to me? It's like, at what price do I give up my soul? And I don't care what you want to hear. I'm going to provide what I know is right based on my years of experience, education, all this stuff. And then just based on where my values are, and continue the great work. You're going to see other fly-by-night financial podcasts just blow up and do crazy numbers. Yeah, because they're giving out free candy at the gym. See, if you're giving out free candy at the gym and you're telling people that all you got to do is take these sugar water pills and you'll have a perfect body. See, the other personal trainer who's telling them, well, no, you actually got to, make sure that you eat right, you work out. Yeah, that person's going to have a line around the door, right? Just crazy. But eventually, when they see the results of your clients, some of them will come over from the dark side to the right side. And it's a long-term play. And, for those who really want to see, success, I'm always there for the long-term play, not to get rich quick.
Definitely. Awesome. Awesome. Any last words, Chris?
Well, I guess I want just so we don't get behind on our questions real quick. This is one I kind of mentioned it earlier, but she mentioned again, I just wanted to touch on the IRA CD because she mentioned, hey, Chris, I wanted to ask you a question about IRA CDs and savings accounts. I saw Discover is offering these services, and I want your perspective on what you see in these accounts are more beneficial than a regular savings or a CD account. Right. So, I kind of want to touch on that a little bit. JT, I don't know if you want to go first, or I can go first on that one, or how you feel
see, I'm not a big fan of those type of products in a retirement account. Right. Yeah. I mean, a product like that in my world is what we're going to use for cash reserves. Like, let's say I'm saving for the down payment of a home. Right. Mm-hmm. This is money that I can't risk in the market. No principal loss here. Guaranteed the cash is going to be there, and you're going to give me a little bit of a interest on that money. Okay, great. But the assets that I personally want to put into a retirement account are going to be assets that are geared towards growth. And to me, that, a CD is not, obviously, a CD is not a growth asset. It's Absolutely. It's cash. It's a liquid thing. So it's like, I'm putting the egg in the wrong basket. If you have money that you want to be secure, that we're talking about your emergency savings fund, a savings fund for a particular cash purchase that you want to make, be it a new car, be it a down payment on a home, stuff like that. Okay, cool. But I wouldn't want a retirement investment account like an IRA to have a CD in it. Unless maybe at this point I'm rebalancing my portfolio and I'm in the withdrawal stage of an investor. And I don't want any principal to ever go down, and I want it to be in a CD or a bond or something like that. But no, this person doesn't sound as if they're about to retire. This sounds like someone who is trying to build up their retirement assets.
Exactly. And I think I pulled up, let me see if I can pull this up real quick. Share screen window. I think that's in here. So I just did like a quick search on Bankrate, right? Just went to Bankrate real quick. I'm looking at, let's talk about CD IRAs. We'll kind of do a sort on that. So when we look at this, right, when we're looking at CD IRAs from a bank, they're giving us, again, a 0.03, a 0.01, a 0.01. Right. So, I guess some of it 0.45, but you got to have a 2,000 deposit. It's only for a 1.5-year term. Look at the terms. So when we're looking at even the savings account craze we have, right? Everybody's always looking for the next highest yield savings account, the next highest yield bank account. Right. Again, it's only a portion of your assets is only going to be in those type of assets anyway. Right. If we're really building for long term, an IRA, or we're planning for retirement 10, 15, 20 years from now, there's not going to be much money in those accounts. So sometimes I don't get caught up in chasing the different banks with the different APYs to see if I can get the highest all the time, because that's a small portion of my plan. outside of emergency fund savings, right? Outside of money that I'm going to be spending in the next, say, 0 to 2 years if I'm buying a house, down payment, those type things. But outside of that, I'm not using very many CDs, right? No. Maybe short term, can use a CD ladder for the next year, right? Maybe a CD or a bond ladder, just if I want to get more guaranteed rates or interest. But there's not very much where I'm going to be using CDs inside of a financial plan most of the time for never going to do it pretty much almost long term, but sometimes.
And think about it, we're talking about an IRA, right? The most amount of money I can put in an IRA for the year is $6,500. So I must be using my available cash. That's already in there. It's like I'm not going to waste my time and effort when I only have so much money that I could put in this IRA per year towards something that's not going to give me the growth that I personally believe equities would give me in that situation, right? If we're talking about growth, there's a big difference between equities and a CD.
Yeah.
Oh,
totally different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So good. So I think, again, this is a part of what we talked about earlier. It's really a puzzle piece in your whole financial plan.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Again, there may be situations where it can fit, but we got to make sure, is it the right timing for you to go do that? And I think that's where when we're looking at different financial strategies, and that puzzle piece that overall puzzle has to be laid out first, right? We're going to put the edges out, right? Then we're going to work our way into the middle, just like we do a regular puzzle, and build our financial plan. So, hopefully that helps on that question. Let's see what else we have. We may have one more just to.
Here's one. My wife and I were looking into more life insurance. We're offered getting an IUL. Should I do that or keep investing in life insurance separately?
All right, let me do this one real quick. Chris is gonna give a measured, professional answer. So I want to go first.
He said
no. All right, now obviously I don't know the person's situation. Everyone's situation is different. I would have to do a deeper dive into your personal situation to give you a more nuanced answer. I'm giving you the 10,000 feet in the air overlook at no, I don't think that you should be doing this, because you're most likely trying to do this based on someone trying to sell you this as a great opportunity, right? Insurance in my world is an income replacement tool. There's a difference between investing and insurance. I want insurance to replace my income if something happened to me before time. What is time? Time for me is when all of the people who depend on my income are adults. When everyone who depends on my income is now 21 plus, I don't feel as if I need that life insurance, because I was investing the difference that whole time. So my wife, who may still need my income at that time, she has this big lump sum of an investment to live off on, which I was living off on anyway by that time. Mm-hmm. So it's just, don't believe the hype. Remember, when people are talking about money, they're most likely lying. Always ask yourself, what are they getting out of it? If someone is singing the praises of some sort of insurance product, ask yourself the question, do they make money selling insurance? It's kind of weird how people who make money selling insurance are the ones who sing the praises about investing with insurance. Maybe it's me. It just seems odd.
No, I think JT, I'm the same way. When it comes to like IULs, I'm big on, again, life insurance is for income replacement, right? We're replacing an income for a period of time, right? So we should be. I want my clients to pay themselves forever, not a company. Right?
Exactly.
I want you to pay yourself forever, because when the first thing when I'm looking at an IUL policy, let me see if I'm big on showing things, guys. So I like to show the numbers so people see things and not just talk about it, right? So I got an example. I know we're going long, but it's maybe our last one. But I want to show you guys this. Anytime that you're buying an insurance policy, right? Anytime that you're investing in something or they say to invest in it, I want you to always to tell them to run you an illustration and go to the hypothetical page. Okay. Let me see if I can pull this out. enforce, or if you have an existing policy, this is homework. If you have an existing whole life IUL policy, I want you to call not your agent. I want you to call the 1-800 number of the company, not the agent.
Not the agent.
Not the agent. Don't call the agent. I want you to call the 1-800 number of the company. Okay. So call Transamerica. Okay. I want you to call Youre. I want you to actually call the company. Okay. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said a name, huh?
You said
I love it. Let's do it.
You're getting JT hype.
I'm sorry. I want you to call the company and ask for enforced illustration. Okay, because when you get an now, this is not an enforced illustration that I'm going to show you, but this is it's like one. Hold on, I gotta delete a name so I don't get in trouble. 1 second.
Thank you.
Y'all gonna have me in trouble. Y'all know I can get hyped too, so don't. I was trying not to let JT get me in trouble tonight. I was trying to be on my best behavior, so he
right.
Best behavior, kid.
So you can.
We can let JT get him all hyped.
Right. So I want you. Hold on. Let me go back. Stop share. Let me do it like this. Hold on for me, guys.
We got you.
This is some good stuff. I promise you.
Yeah. I mean, because these are the things that people need to understand and the questions that they need to ask so that they can actually have a true comparison of what they're buying as a financial product.
Yep.
Well, and this is and we were talking about doing research too. I just recently, JT, I actually called 7 different companies or people that I saw on Instagram, Twitter, talking about the different types of policies, and I actually did appointments with them as if I was a client. Right. So I can actually get their enforced illustrations because I want to understand how they selling this stuff. Right. Because you're really good at doing that. Right. So I understand. Well, how do you sell it? What do you tell people? So that's what I did recently. I do that for fun. Like I love doing conversations like that. Right. To help people understand. OK, what are they saying? How does this work? So let me show you this, guys. This is what an enforced illustration looks like, or a hypothetical looks like when you're looking at an IUL, cash value, cash flow banking, infinite banking policy. This is what it looks like. Okay. So you're going to go to a page that has this stuff on here. It's going to say guaranteed illustrated value. So this is what's guaranteed to happen inside the policy. Right. And this is not the life insurance class, but I will teach a life insurance class and break this crap down. But I want you to understand. So we're talking about, hey, look, I want one of these policies I can borrow from. I want one of these policies that I can. Okay, the person put in $60,000. 60 in 10 years, and they said my cash surrender value is how much?
35.
The
devil is a liar.
I'm not. So 60,000 that you put into the policy, but you can borrow how much? 35. For the first 3 years, no matter how much you put into the policy, the cash value is 0. Now, yes, there's somebody's going to tell you to where, well, maybe this is a poorly designed IUL policy. They should have put it into the paid up additions versus the base. That's a whole nother conversation, JT.
Yeah. Right? It's what people refer to as no true Scotsman's defense, right? So I'm a believer. I love arguments and debates and different tactics. So no true Scotsman's defense is basically saying anytime you point out something wrong, they say, oh, it's because that policy's wrong. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. They'll always have some sort of scapegoat and say, well, that's not how I write it up. And they'll say all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, it's a bad product.
Yeah. So I mean, think about 180,000 over a 30-year period you put in. Right. And you got $100,000 after 30 years. So if you just do the income calculate, the compound interest calculator on that, it's totally different.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, again, the net death benefit is what, 785,000. There's
the death benefit doesn't even change. It doesn't change.
It doesn't grow because again.
Yeah. And look at that. So the 180. So scroll back down, Chris. Scroll back down.
But this is the thing. It's because it's what death benefit option. What it's a level death benefit. So if an insurance agent sells you a policy like an IUL whole life, universal life, variable universal life, and it has a death benefit option A level, they're getting more commissions on that policy as well because the cash value is not added to the overall death benefit. But again, when we talk about these things, you're never going to see a social media clip talking about the death benefit level option A or B. We don't talk, so that's not sexy to talk about.
Right.
But so these is the level of detail. Like when you're sitting down with me as an advisor, see, this is the stuff that I want to go through. right? This is the sexy stuff that I need you to pull before we meet. Let's go over your statements. Let's look at the numbers. You know what I'm saying? Right? It's just unbelievable on this. So this is just like a quick example, guys. So if you have a IUL whole life, variable life, universal life policy, again, we just got to understand how is it constructed, right? You need to go call your company, right, and get an in-force illustration. That's all I'm gonna say on that.
All right, people. Thank you so much for the invite. I love the platform. I appreciate it. Hopefully, I didn't get y'all in trouble, and you will actually invite me back sometime.
You are definitely welcome back. Just to let you know, Simmons, no, we're not saying that you shouldn't get life insurance, but just look into what your options are, okay? Like I have a term life for me. I have one for my daughter. I have one for my niece and nephews. Just look at what your options. Sit with a financial advisor is what I highly recommend. Guys, we did give you guys overtime, which you guys deserve because we've been gone for 2 weeks. JT, thank you so much. Chris, you are amazing.
Yeah, have a great night.
Listen, thank you for coming to the Red Line. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.
Thank you.